Guys coming now. So this is a city council forum, and well, I mean, let's wait for all our city councilmen and women to take their seats. But so while everyone's sitting down, I would like to thank the Maricopa Rotary Club for setting this whole thing up for us, really, and giving us this crazy opportunity. Obviously, the district office for this beautiful building that we're all sitting in Maricopa, Maricopa Monitor, Hey Maricopa TV, all those things that help us, citizens of Maricopa, stay connected with each other. And I'd also like to thank Helen for bringing some delicious food. I mean, that food is pretty good, you guys gotta say it. I'd also like to give a... Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I totally forgot to say who I am. I'm Nathan Wallen, president of Maricopa JSA. We are a club at MHS. I'm a senior this year. We have a few more of our people here. We're all seniors. And basically what we are is we're a activism club where we try to get the youth active in like government, politics, stuff like that. And just kind of get us a head start on our future. I'd also really like to thank the candidates for coming out, because this isn't mandatory, this isn't something they were forced to do, this is just something that was optional for them, and that they took the time out of their day to come. So I'd like to thank... I'll say their names, they'll stand up, wave. So I'd like to thank Paige Ritchie, Cynthia Morgan, Bob Marsh, Lynette Caraselli, Henry Wade, Vincent Manfrendi, Rich Vitello, sorry if I said that wrong, and Leon Potter. Alright, thank you guys all, and we are going to start with a kind of opening speech phase, to where they're going to get 2.5 minutes to basically give an opening speech on their platform, what they stand for, what they believe in. So, to them.
And I get to start. First, I want to thank you all for coming. This is important. It's important that you hear what each of us has to say. I came to Maricopa in 2010 after a dozen years at Microsoft, where my job was community development. And I helped to build the community of channel partners that Microsoft has around the world. It's up to 17 million people now. And they're holding a major convention in Las Vegas starting tomorrow. My wife and I came here because we wanted to be close to family. We have family throughout the valley. Because I lived here for about 25 years, and all of my relatives from back east came out to visit. They decided Arizona was really neat, so they followed me out here. And my wife, same thing. I've been on the Planning and Zoning Commission for several years now, and I've learned how this city operates. I've gotten to work with city council people, with the staff, with the mayor, and I've really come to respect the form of government that we have here. There aren't any superstars in government in Maricopa, except maybe for Christian Price. Work gets done by committees, and it gets done by people working together, collaborating. It's just the same at Microsoft. There aren't any real superstars other than Bill Gates. People work together on teams to get things done. And that's the way I intend to work on City Council, to collaborate and really get things done. One of my highest priorities, other than the usual stuff, the 347 stuff and the we need a hospital and so forth, is finding a way to bring senior services to Maricopa. Right now, if your husband dies, you have to go to Casa Grande to get things processed, or Florence. You can't get it done here. We need to be able to land senior services in Maricopa and get those services distributed out to the people who need them. Financial services, health services, food, et cetera, et cetera. Joan Kozler has been working on that for a long time. She knows the story. She's on the Age-Friendly Committee. And I urge you to attend the Age-Friendly meetings. There's one coming up on Monday at 4 p.m. at City Hall. Anyway, my time's about up. I want to thank you very much. And if you see signs out there, out on the street that say, "Vote for Bob," I'm Bob. Thank
you, Bob. I'm Paige Ritchie. Many of you might know me. I am a student and a longtime resident of Maricopa, Arizona. I've lived here for roughly 8 years now, and many of you might think, wow, she's really young. I moved here in about 2010. I'm about 20 years old. I'm a senior at Arizona State University. Everything about my life has centered around Maricopa. Between my growth into my formative years, my developmental years as a teen, and into my life has been Maricopa, Arizona. My mom's taught here, my dad has substitute taught here, and much of our work in my family has been in Maricopa. I'm actually, since I am so young, I do often get the question, how can you feel, what kind of experiences do you feel that you have that you feel you can work for the state and work for the city? I actually did used to work for the Department of Economics. I'm so sorry, I'm stuttering. I used to work for the Department of Economic Security as on a contract for where we did help with benefits in the city. So everything I have done in my life, my young adult life, my teen life, has been centered around helping people, helping our community, helping Arizona, and I just want to continue doing that. Everything I look forward to is the development of Maricopa. I'm very familiar with my council members who are currently sitting amongst me today, and I want to hopefully lead Maricopa and help us become better, see our development. My favorite line, and you'll probably hear this a lot throughout my campaign, is that Maricopa has helped me grow and develop, and I really want to return the favor and help Maricopa grow and develop and be the best it can be successful as it has made me. I don't have any signs out just yet, but as you can see, as my family has descended upon us today in our blue shirts, you can always contact me on my Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, anywhere you guys can reach me on my website. I'm always happy to answer questions. I'm going to pass it on now. Thank you guys so much.
I have a quote. Let us continue to build a greater community, but let us be mindful of those who are less fortunate. As we participate in our local community programs, let us remember that the stakes are high because the stakes are people, and the people are precious. Dr. Lorraine A. Williams. I live by that quote because I believe people are precious entities, especially where I live. This will be my 21st year teaching, my 6th year teaching in Maricopa School District. I am proud to teach your children. I am not a politician by any means. This is my first time running for a public office, but I'm no stranger to service. For 25 years, I have served the communities in where I lived, whether that been in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, right here in Arizona. In New Jersey, I worked with Councilwoman Andrea McElroy for 12 years. I did not live in Irvington, but I believed in what she was doing for her community. So I would drive from Pennsylvania to Irvington, which was about an hour and a half, to help her. I helped her with her scholar program, and I helped her with the community development zone. I developed a passion for service in doing that with her. I also developed a passion for people in my sorority, and I know that sounds funny because I'm not in school anymore. And my organization is a lifetime commitment. I just left our biennial boule, where we've donated thousands of dollars to the various communities that we serve. I did a panel on human trafficking for over 5,000 people. For 4 days, I constantly talked to mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles about how to protect their children. I've done that here in Maricopa twice, and I want to continue to do that. My platform is focused on youth because, after all, I am a teacher, but it's also focused on our seniors. We need senior center for our seniors. They need to be involved. There's more than the casino, even though I like to go to the casino, but there's more to it than that. We need 347 expanded, and we need safety measures. It's very important that we make our communities safe. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your council member, Henry Wade, and I have been serving you for the last almost 4 years. The reason I have been serving you for that amount of time is because I love the city that I'm a part of. I didn't come here to get involved in politics. I came here to run my business. So it's an appraisal business and a real estate business. That was my intent. But the market fell apart. And when that happened, it caused me to look at other things to do. So I started serving my community by starting a nonprofit housing counseling agency, where we would go out and assist people with foreclosure prevention, loss mitigation. We did a great job of doing that. Myself and my partner, Gail Randolph, serviced over 450 individuals and helped save their homes. That's my passion. My passion is working with people. My passion is working with youth. One of the programs that I've started here in the city of Maricopa is called Councilman on the Corner. One of the most significant events that I'm so proud of is the mock city council that we just had for Council Member on the Corner, where we introduced young men and women, students, to that process. They did a great job. It took 5 weeks of learning the process. Then they conducted a city council work session and a city council meeting, regular scheduled meeting, to decide, and their factor was, or their idea was to have some type of sign to identify you when you come into the city of Maricopa, a monument sign. But something happened that was even more significant. During the course of that action, we had a situation where there was a tied vote, but we had 13 individuals, but it kept tying at 12, and tied at 12. Somebody wasn't voting. And as we continue to go through the process, one of the things I said to the young people was, you've got to vote. If you don't vote, then you can't speak. And if you don't speak, then you can't create important things for your community and leave it better than you found it. Well, that last vote, they voted, and it was 7-6. So everybody voted. I was really proud of it. That's an important lesson. A lesson that some of us still haven't quite learned. But it's important to do that. So I come before you, as I said, I have business to continue here in the city of Maricopa. There are things that still need to be done. We can talk about it all day, and we will at other times. But I want to continue the part that I've started already, and with your help, we'll continue to be the great city that we are, and I can be a part of that. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
First of all, I'd like to thank every one of you guys. We put ourselves out there, and you guys have all done a great job. I especially want to thank my lovely wife, who has put up with me for the last 7 months, 8 months, 23 years, actually. Thank you, Joanne. I love you, honey. But I also want to thank everybody who came tonight. You guys are super important. You're the reason why I'm here. I've been here 13 years. I've got my family here. I've got my daughters. I've got 5 grandchildren here. Unfortunately, my mother and father are no longer with me. This is for them. And you, baby, don't worry. 27 years of international business experience. I take that very serious. And I think the city, I'm able to bring that experience to the city. That means negotiating. That's what 99% of everything happens here in the city. What do? You negotiate. I'm a people person. It's not easy standing out on a 347. You get some waves, and you get a few other things too. And guess what? I wave right back to them, and I make sure that I clap every time they drive by the next time. The city's important to me. I've been involved with the city for the last 5-6 years, volunteer police, 2040 Visionary Committee. I can go on and on and on. I'm sure you guys read all this stuff. But my heart and my head is here to help build this city to be the greatest city in the state of Arizona. So I can say this is my home, my children's home. Schools are important to me. But most important, everybody is important to me. I will be there. I will work hard for you. That is a promise that I will make to you. I will work and put the time in. So there is no amount of hours. Whatever it is it takes, I will take it. I will do it. I will promise you that. I will bring you transparency. I will bring you honesty. I will bring all these things to you and work hard for you. I will listen to you. The most important thing is what I think is listening. Again, I will work hard. I will be there for you. I take the fire and police endorsement very, very serious. I am the only candidate endorsed by both fire and police. I am super proud of that. I had to go through the interviews just like everybody else. So let me tell you something. Public safety, a safe city, brings business and brings more buildings to this city. Thank you very much. Thank you, Maricopa. Thank you guys for all coming and being here with us.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank God, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for an opportunity to stand before each and every one of you. I've been looking around this room and the candidates that I'm fortunate enough to be with today, and just looking and thinking back on my time here in Maricopa and my involvement. And I want to thank all of you who are involved in volunteering. There was a great article in a local paper in Maricopa about the 100 or so nonprofits, not including the faith-based organizations and parent-teacher organizations. So applause to all of you who volunteer and take part in the campaigning and get out there and do all the work. I started my venture back in 2010 in politics. I ran for mayor, and it wasn't successful, but it was definitely a learning experience. And from then, I got deeper and deeper into community involvement. And one of the organizations that I was fortunate and blessed to be part of was the Rotary Club, was putting this on this evening. And their motto is service above self. Now that's to hold one to that standard is a high standard, and that was a good time of my life, and I'm very fortunate to be part of it. And I'm also fortunate to be past president of the club. No longer a member. It was 2 or 3 years ago, but the club is very, very active in the community. And one of the things that I've taken in is the parade, homecoming parade at the high school. That was our first venture over at Copper Sky. I don't know if anyone remembers that. Part of the homecoming committee, and I was on the parade planning committee. And then the reason why myself and my wife got involved with that, because no one else wanted to do it. So, but it was also a great learning experience. And just remember this number, 11, or 3 numbers actually, 11, 10, and 9. On November 10th at 9 a.m. is the Veterans Day Parade, the second annual one that the city is going to have. It's led by American Legion Auxiliary. I'm also a member of the American Legion. I'm a veteran, and there's so much I want to give and do, and you guys are all great models. Thank you.
I'm not going to attempt the steps. Okay, so I'll start out like this too, and see. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I appreciate you all being here. We all do. And I appreciate this opportunity to talk to you. I want to tell you, first of all, I'm not a politician. I am in my 60s. I'm retired, and believe me, this wasn't something I had really thought about doing or really even wanted to do. I was asked to run by citizens of Maricopa. I've been involved with Maricopa for years, ever since I got here. The first day I got here, I hadn't even unpacked. I went and joined the Chamber of Commerce. I have worked as a volunteer with the city on many projects. I have worked with every city council member in some project or another, and worked with the city for quite a while. And people said, hey, you know, all this work you put in, you might as well get a vote. And so I thought about doing it. One of the major reasons was lately the taxes. I'm the person that was against the MCE program and went to the city council, city meetings and talked and talked and talked, because I feel that we need to have a little more transparency where our tax dollars are going. We're tax-paying voters. I don't like reading in the paper that we're getting another tax for such and such a reason. I just got cut off. For such and such a reason. So the taxes is the main thing with me. The other thing that's the main thing with me is the seniors. I am advocating for the seniors, one, because they've been promised a community center since way before Copper Sky was even built. I know, I was part of that. They were supposed to get an area of Copper Sky. That's what they were promised. They have been promised a lot of things. When my late husband passed, I had to go to Casa Grande to get services. There was nothing available to help me in Maricopa. And we have a population now that has passed Casa Grande. That is no longer sustainable. We need to have services brought here. We need to have businesses brought here. I believe very much in a vibrant community. I don't take no for an answer. I am one of those people that feels that if this is not the avenue, you need to find another way. Because if you work hard enough and you study hard enough, you can get things done, as opposed to just saying, oh, it's 5 or 10 years down the road, like 347. No, that's an emergency situation. People are dying. That needs to be dealt with today, not 5 to 10 years down the road, and you can do it. Thank you.
I'm the last one. That's usually Henry's spot, the W. My name is Vince Manfredi. I am currently a serving city council member. I'm running for re-election. You know, I have a lot of things I can talk about why I'm running and what I've done for the city of Maricopa, but to begin, let me say thank you to JSA. You know, when I spoke before their convention this past year, it was so great to see the kids involved and see them understanding what it takes to be part of your community. So when they have their convention, I don't know if it's open to the public, but if it is, people should attend. It's a great thing. You know, when you look at what we do in the city of Maricopa, one of the most important things is transportation. I serve on 3 boards currently for transportation. That's the RTA, that's the Arizona League of Cities Transportation Subcommittee, as well as I serve on CAB. So my role with the city of Maricopa is to really work with transportation and understand how we're going to get the 347 taken care of. I have what I always call my move plan, right? And it's basically more lanes, of course, overpasses, and interchanges, and then making sure that we look at how we're going to get all that taken care of. The programs that we need to put in place, the people we need to talk to, and how we're going to move forward as a community. Instead of just, you know, talking about stuff, we need to get things done. So that's why I serve on committees and I do that. You know, when we look at, it's so fast, there's so much to say. When you look at what we do as city council members, we work together. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, you know, Christian Price says all the time, a pothole is not Republican or Democrat. It's 100% true. We have to work together. We have to put forth an effort to get everything we need. So I want to thank again Rotary Club, JSA, Maricopa Monitor, Copa TV, and everybody else that's involved in putting these together. Every single month, what I do, for my next 30 seconds, every single month what I do is I run a Facebook Live. So the same thing that's happening right here, you can come onto my Facebook page, I'm there for you, and I answer your questions directly. All you have to do is type a question, I answer it, so I'm very open and transparent about everything I'm doing. Thank you.
Awesome. So can we have another round of applause for our great candidates up here? So now we're going to go to a questioning phase where the candidates bit quicker. And so let's start with our first question. So our first question is a community question. Can you describe an achievable concept to increase revenues in the city?
We've been working thank you for the question. It's a good question, actually. What you have to do is, if there's two ways to get money, right? Either you're going to raise taxes or you're going to increase your revenue base, right? So we're not going to raise taxes. At least I'm never going to vote to raise your taxes as your council member. So what we need to do is learn how to grow our revenue base. There's a couple ways to do it. Of course, we have to bring into the community more houses, of course, that are going to increase the property rate. But housing and rooftops are not sustainable. So they can help us get police, but they can't help us maintain the police force we have. So we need to bring industry and corporations into the city. And that means retail as well as industrial and light industrial, manufacturing and things like that. One of the best ways that we're going to increase our revenue base right now, the quickest way, is to make sure people are signing up for the only thing we have that generates revenue, and that is Copper Sky. If you do not have a membership for Copper Sky, please sign up for Copper Sky. Sign your family up. It's the great way for us to pay for Copper Sky. Thank you.
Same question?
Oh, yeah, same question. Everyone gets a chance to answer.
Okay, I need to hear the question again, to be clear.
Can you describe an achievable concept to increase revenues in the city?
Yes, I had mentioned before, we have a lot of artistic people that live in Maricopa. I don't think that we have tapped into that enough. And I think that it's possible to do that. We can have fundraisers. It isn't just about raising taxes. I do understand why there is the need to raise taxes to a point. But I don't know about you. Mine went up $1,000 in 1 year. That's not acceptable. And I feel that there are other programs that we can start. There are ways for the city to make money. We can do fundraisers. We can do events. It takes artistic people to do that. And I don't feel, and I love the city council. I think this is the best sitting city council we've had since I moved here. I want to make that clear. I love all these people. I've worked well with all these people. And I back them. I believe in them. I just feel that we need a few more artistic people involved in this city that can look at things in a different way beyond crunching the numbers and do artistic things. I want to build a theater. That time? Okay.
Thank you. There's a couple ways to raise revenue. One, of course, is taxes. That's the hard word. By trade, I'm a tax professional. So one of the things that City Council is done is obligated with is setting the budget and spending and revenues and all that good stuff. And as a professional, trying to explain a tax increase to those who are trying to, I'm advising them to lower their taxes, or legally, of course. It can go offsetting, right? Another way, though, is through grants. The police department is looking at a grant for our schools. I was at the coffee with the chief this morning, and that's one thing they're searching for. I mean, it's just one example. I mean, there's many, many ways that are doable. But the grant for electronics, or excuse me, for video, and I'll just leave it at that. Grants. Thank you.
There is 18 beautiful acres at Copper Sky. Okay? That would be a beautiful place for a hotel. So you've got revenue for a hotel, which is huge, but softball tournaments, a little partial to softball tournaments, soccer tournaments, football, basketball, all these tournaments could be held right there. Could be held at all the other schools. That hotel would bring a tremendous revenue to this city. That's what I want to focus on. Economic development, focusing on a huge, beautiful hotel that I've spoke with Opchin about, and they are totally psyched about having a shuttle run back and forth. Again, more revenue. Again, 18 beautiful acres. The city council's done a great job trying to get things there. I believe that I can also help them with my negotiating skills to bring a hotel here to Maricopa that will bring a huge amount of revenue to this city.
If you're going to build a shopping mall, the first thing you go out for is an anchor store. Maricopa doesn't have an anchor employer yet. We need that. Something like a 3,000 person division of a major corporation, like for software testing or insurance processing or banking, some clean industry, like what's going on Price Road. We could position ourselves to major employers like that as a cheaper alternative, a lower cost alternative to the Price Road corridor. And I think that's the quickest way for us to get a boost. If you look at the history of cities and towns in the West, all of them had anchor employers first, like a gold mine or a copper mine or an agricultural thing going first. And then the people came. We've got the people first. Let's get that anchor going.
I think it would be achievable to invest in our housing diversity. As everyone knows, we already have a massive population. We're only growing. But everyone knows that when kids graduate high school, we have young adults going to college, growing up, they're leaving town because they have nowhere to go. It's just unsustainable to have persons, young adults, single adults living in full single-family homes. We need to invest in making our housing options more diverse, making them more affordable, making different options and opportunities for our youth, for our community. That is where the revenue is in the people. For one, taxes. People are staying in our community and our taxes aren't running to other cities. For two, we have another demographics for our businesses to get people from. New businesses will come in to guide to young people. And furthermore, it would also help in developing our city. New ideas, keeping people here is how we grow. We don't want to see people leave Maricopa. We want our growth to be sustainable.
I agree with a lot of what my colleagues have stated, but there's something that we need to understand. Grant money is there. We just have to tap into it. Working in a service organization and the community services that I do, I don't come out my pocket. Not a rusty nickel. I don't. 2.9 billion federal dollars go unclaimed and unapplied for every year. $2.9 billion. Think about what that $2.9 billion can do for Maricopa. Wouldn't it not be worth it to hire a grant writer to get $2.9 billion? If you like me, I think other people's money. Okay? That's a start. We also need to have a comprehensive study. I'm not talking about spending a lot of money by any means. Can I please finish this thought? Just real quick. Please, thank you. Look at what other cities comparable in size and population are doing for revenue. What are they doing to survive? We need to find that out.
Actually, the city does have a grant writer that we employ to go after grant funding currently. She just came on board in December. As far as, I tend to agree with all of my colleagues in the different options that they offer. I was fortunate enough to represent the city here the other day at the NAMBI, the Native American Basketball Invitational. There were about 3,500 to 4,000 people at Ultrastar. Wouldn't it have been nice if we had had some of that in our hotel in Maricopa? And as they stated, the blockchain community would like for the same thing to happen, to have an offshoot or a runoff for when they had activities there as well. They plan on becoming the entertainment mecca of Western Canal. And we, as family members of them, would be smart to be able to attach to that and be able to generate revenue through those options that might be available to us. So there are many options that are available. It's just a matter of sitting down. I actually would like to see a community summit put together along the lines of the 2040 vision that we had. We did the 2040 vision, but we haven't implemented anything. Fortunately, we have a new city manager that's going to make that happen. So there are a number of options that we're available that I can't answer in a minute.
So, next question is, what is more important for our city right now? Building new housing in commercial fronts or expanding and better utilizing existing housing and storefronts? Do you need me to rephrase it?
No, I'm just trying to see if I understand the question. Most of our housing is fairly new since we're only 15 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so, but we need to expand on our housing. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We need multifamily housing. We need workforce housing in order to cater to those family members who are now grown, and young people who are grown and maybe have gone away to school and want to come back home and live at home. Those seniors who don't necessarily want to live in a single family home, have to take care of yards and all that. So we do need a different housing stock. We have the room to make it happen. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I am your current city councilman. We are going to build housing for multifamily here in the city of Maricopa eventually. I know I hear about it on Facebook or whatever, but that's going to happen. It has to happen. If it doesn't happen, we will not grow. So it will take place in order to make that happen. So the existing is going to have to continue on. We have some absorbent rents, unfortunately, with some of the landlords that own a lot of the storefront properties out there. If we can impact on that, then we should. But it's private business. It's private enterprise. Supply and demand. They are basing their prices on who's coming. Thank you.
Please, Nathan, restate the question.
Yes, sorry. What is more important for our city right now? Building new housing in commercial fronts or expanding and better utilizing existing housing and storefronts?
To me, it's a trick question. And this is why. We can build all we want, and we are growing, and I think it's fantastic. But until we address, not even address, until the actual expansion of 347 actually happens, we're putting ourselves in a conundrum. Yeah. We really are. I'm not saying that we shouldn't grow. I want us to grow because it brings money into the city. Of course, I'm all for that. But that has to be addressed first. It's kind of like we have to prioritize what's going on in our city because they're all connected. If we want more businesses to come here, 347 is what's affecting it. There are businesses that are not coming here because of the one way in, one way out, and they don't feel they're going to make enough money. They don't see it as a profit. So that's a problem. So we have to address that as a priority before we can continue to expand. I think everything will fall into place once that actually happens.
So I absolutely agree. This is definitely a trick question. I definitely believe that we should take advantage of the existing structures we have so that we can make sure that the people who are living there and people who are coming to Maricopa can say, this house has been here since the beginning of Maricopa. We're coming up as being official for 15 years now, and I can't think of any properties off the top of my head that have been here right since the beginning. You can't say, like, this is a 1,000-year-old house. But I really also, like I said, I do strongly believe that we do need to invest in new housing, new forms of housing. As Henry had brought up, it's really important to express that diversity and invest in that. There's so many different people in Maricopa, so many young people, so many adults who are single, so many people who don't subscribe to the demographic of single-family household. And so I definitely believe that is something we should invest in and dive deeper into as a city.
Okay, the 2040 vision and the general plan both document that Maricopa will be built out as a series of villages, separate villages like Tortosa, etc., Anderson, Russell. I think the city planners need to start pressing developers to start architecting and designing these new villages so that we can have some different core villages, not just the Fry's corridor here. Also, with respect to housing, I don't particularly like apartments. I don't like people living over or under me for sound reasons, but I think we should focus on patio homes as the next step. Small, affordable, $600 a month patio homes would be excellent for Maricopa. Thanks.
I want it all. I want more houses. I want apartments. I want hotels. I'm not going to say no to people who want to bring money to this city. We bring money to this city, we keep our taxes low. Okay, economic development is the #1 resource and thing that we need big here in Maricopa. Having storefronts, huge. We need to build more. We need to ask them to continue to keep coming in. We have to work with our partners to get these people to come here. 347, all that, there's so many entities. I agree, we need it. It'll get fixed eventually. Again, I will work hard to continue. I will meet with the people. Like I said, there's so many entities. But we definitely need more storefronts. If we get more storefronts, we will have competition. Competition is going to bring rent down. So build strip malls, build them all, keep building them. Again, other housing is so important. We've got teachers who want to come work here, but they don't want to live in a house. We need affordable, reasonable, alternative living quarters for single people who want to come here and kids. Thank you.
Currently I'm on the Housing Assessment Committee that the city has hired a consultant with, and I sit on the committee with a few members. And definitely in the survey, I think it's no secret, we're the only community with single-family homes and no other, not the only community, but our community, our size, it's very rare. So definitely we need to have new housing. And also we need to focus on new businesses. I'm a home-based, I own a small business, home-based business. This just isn't about me, but there's many because of the lack of storefronts. What we need to focus on is Civic Center, the area around City Hall. There's so much area that's ready to be built, businesses, multifamily homes, just diversified industries. It's a good place to start. There was a vision that was there many years ago, and I want to carry that through. Thank you.
I have 2 grandchildren that went to Maricopa High School and graduated here, and they have now graduated from college. My granddaughter's best friend was her roommate, best friends at the high school, and was her roommate through college. And she has come back to Maricopa, and she's a teacher now at one of the schools here. She has to live with her parents. And so I believe that we do need to build multi-generational housing. That is going to require a little more police, not because it's going to bring in crime, but a safe community is only as safe and strong as its police force. So we need that. We need storefront housing. We need to fast track 347. We can't get the businesses here until there's an alternative way into and out of Maricopa, as well as the fact that 347, one thing we need to do is make sure that it's policed constantly. I think that's going to make a big difference. And like I said, we need to really go up the chain and just not take no for an answer. We need to sit down and say, we need to be fast-tracked and stop what's happening with 347, and we need it now.
I apologize, I speak fast, I only have a minute, all right, and there's a lot to go over. So when we talk about do we fix existing buildings or do we build new buildings, we do both. In the city of Maricopa, there are programs available for the Heritage District to fix some of those houses, turn them into like lawyers' offices and different things like that. All you have to do is go to the city, speak with our planning department, they'll help you guide you through it. Well, we need to build new buildings. My first month in office, I said we need to build light industrial building, even if the city buys it and pays for it. We need to build it because the lowest hanging fruit in terms of economic development are our home-based businesses and small businesses that have nowhere to expand outside their homes. That right there increases our tax base, that brings in revenue and all that. So we need to fix the existing buildings we have and use them the correct way, and we need to build new buildings. And without the new buildings, nothing's going to come out of the ground here in Maricopa. And it's only 10 seconds. Done. Thank you.
All right, I'm first.
Awesome. So we got everything? Perfect. So, our next question. Oh, sorry about that. So our next question is a community question, and it's a little long, so stay with me here. Pinal County is one of the fastest growing counties in the nation and has already faced water shortages and restrictions in our agricultural communities. Seeing the dramatic increase in new house construction in Maricopa during the last couple of years and continued development, what plans does the city have to one, regulate development, and or two, ensure our water supplies are not only maintained and conserved, but also cost manageable for families?
It's a long question, and it's a great question. Whoever handed it in, great question. Global Water controls the water here in the city of Maricopa. Everybody, ooh, that's bad. But Global Water has done a great thing for the city of Maricopa, and I know people don't believe it. When you look at the city of Maricopa is the only city in Pinal County, and really one of the only cities in the entire state, where every single house has a purple pipe that runs to it. That purple pipe allows the wastewater, or the gray water that you use when you do your dishes and take a bath and all that water, not the toilet water, but it flows through the purple pipe. The purple pipe goes back to Global Water. It's reused for when all those lakes, not all, but some of the lakes that you see, and it does all of the landscaping. So I don't believe we're going to have a water problem for a very long time in the city of Maricopa. So what we've done is we work with Global Water. Global Water is just got a huge award for their conserving of water. So yeah, we pay the price for it, but we have a good system here in the city of Maricopa. Unfortunately, it costs a lot of money, but we have it.
I'm not quite sure how to answer that question.
You can rephrase it.
Please.
Okay. So, do you have any plans to regulate or ensure our water supplies are not only maintained, but cost manageable?
That's what I thought it was. Okay, well, a long time ago we started the Stop Global Water Coalition. A lot of us. We went to the Corporation Commission. And the city was wonderful in the fact that they hired people to look at the problem and try to fix the problem. And they've tried to fix the problem. We've all tried to fix the problem. Global Water put money into the infrastructure. They put a lot of money into developing the town, and they're going to be here probably long after my children are dead. Because they put a lot of money in, there's nothing we can do. We are working with them one-on-one so that they are more approachable. When people have problems now, we go right to John Corbin, and John Corbin fixes the situation, or at least tries. We kind of hold their feet to the fire. Unfortunately, trying to get another water company, the city taking it over, that isn't at all possible. So it's based on Global Water, and really there's not much that the city can do, frankly, to regulate them. That's under the Corporation Commission. Okay? Sorry.
Parts of the question, water and
so sustaining, make sure all water supplies are maintained because we're a fast-growing community.
Okay, was that was the
other part.
Okay. Well, like Cynthia said, we talk about city council regulating water. It's not in the city's jurisdiction to do so. But what the city and as representatives, elected representatives can do, I was a city council member on this last agreement they went through, and I know that's it's a tough pill to swallow. But I think it takes a lot of negotiating and going in front of the Arizona Corporation Commission and pleading their case and working with our city attorney and negotiating with them, because they, by law, Global Water needs to make a profit. That's just how it is. So the best thing that we can do is work with them, but listening to you guys, because they have, there's a lot. I'm a consumer too, right? I get my bill every month. So the best thing we can do is listen to you, and at the same time continue to work with Global Water and Arizona Corporation Corporation Commission as your representative. Thank you.
Very difficult thing. We have one entity. It's called global water. We're going to have to work with them. We're going to have to make sure that we stay on top of them. They are our only resource for water. We can sit here and complain about it. I complain about it. I have a pool. My bills are pretty big. But you know something? We need to stay on top of them and negotiate. That's, again, what I'm talking about. We need to negotiate. That's the best thing we can do. We have to make sure the corporate community, we have to be on top of them consistently, working with them nonstop. We need to work, that's all, and I can promise you that's what I will do. It's a very difficult question, but there is only one entity here, and that's global water. It's a tough one, but we continue to do what the council has done. You guys have done a great job. I want to be part of that, to stay on top of them and make sure that the council and everybody and any other help that we can get to work with them. So I know it sounds over and over again. You may hear it 3 or 4 more times, and I hope somebody else has a better answer. Thank you.
Okay, fact is, a developer can't build a new house here, a new subdivision, unless they can get a guarantee of 100 years supply of water. So we can't overbuild our water supply. Maricopa has a secret. We're not sitting on an aquifer. We're not sitting on something you just pump water out of and drain it. We're sitting on an underground river. The Santa Cruz, Santa Rosa, produce a water stream from Mexico through to the Gila River that flows beneath Maricopa. So we're not tapping a supply that's going to end until that river stops flowing. And because water flows downhill, that river's not going to stop flowing. So that's Maricopa's little water secret. Maricopa was built, the current version, subdivisions were built with big green grass areas to fool people from Minnesota into buying desert homes. That's stupid, and we got to stop doing it. We should be doing desert landscaping and then having some green fields for play and for golf courses maybe.
I'm going to apologize. Would you repeat the question one more time?
Yes. So, how can you help regulate development and ensure our water supplies are not only conserved but cost manageable for families?
So this is absolutely important, and absolutely, as everyone's mentioned, it feels as though global water is this giant entity. They have a monopoly on us, and we're trapped. Absolutely what City Council can do, we can work with them, we can negotiate. That's absolutely what I hope we can do in the future, is to work with them, making it more cost effective. Absolutely, I also would like to look into opportunities and options for more sustainable options in regards to water recycling, water conservation, that sort of thing. I know that Global Water also is working on some different options there. We can look into those resources, those avenues. Overall, I feel as though Global Water is definitely a force to be reckoned with, but it's definitely manageable. And hopefully in the future we can try and make it more doable so that we're not worrying about our pipes breaking and getting billed crazy amounts in the future, and just keeping it more sustainable in general.
I don't know, call me crazy, but it sounds like we need to elect a corporate commission that's actually going to do something. We're the only ones that can break the monopoly, so until we do that,
I hate to keep doing this, but when we did have the global water debacle here, when Cynthia's group did bring global water to Maricopa at Maricopa Wells Elementary School, Arizona Corporation Commissioner Sandra Kennedy ensured that global water would not elevate their prices at that time. So the Corporation Commission does get involved when we have the right people in the Corporation Commission. I'll leave it at that. I think that if we had the right folks making the decisions, then we may have a little bit of a better opportunity. We took a look at buying global water. city did. We did almost a year survey, or search, discussion in reference to purchasing global water. It was cost prohibitive. You think you're paying higher taxes now, forget about that. You're paying money. So, but we are in fact keeping our Arizona Corporation Commission's feet to the fire. We are in fact trying to work among our partners to make sure that it's developed for us.
Our next question is another community question, and it says, what are your intentions in regards to bringing veteran services to Maricopa?
I'm a daughter of a veteran, granddaughter, niece, etc., etc., etc. Our veterans are often overlooked, and it's very unfortunate. And I'm not just talking about here in Arizona, I'm talking about across our country. It's very unfortunate. They have made the ultimate sacrifices. They give of themselves because they believe in our country and democracy. And I personally think it's shameful that they have to fight for benefits. We should be giving it to them. That's just my personal opinion. There are lots of services that we can bring in. There are many organizations that exist who will provide the funding. It won't even cost us anything. Other cities are doing it. We need to jump on the bandwagon.
I have to say, I absolutely agree. I feel as though veteran resources are a huge priority for me. Unfortunately, I can't say I have anyone in my immediate family that is a veteran. I thank them every day for the services that I live and I get every freedom for. I get to be here because of my veterans. However, I feel as though they are definitely not given enough resources. And as I said, I have worked in different programs, Department of Economic Security. We do work with different programs to help get veterans better services. But it's just so disappointing to see that there aren't more options. I absolutely think we should reach out to a number of different programs, especially federally, for funding different programs so that our city can help support our veterans. And I know a large portion of our community is not only elderly, but veterans, seniors, and they absolutely do need to have these resources at hand.
I serve on the board of the Maricopa Multicultural Consortium. This is a group that's working to build a community center in Maricopa eventually. We've got a long ways to go, but that community center could be a senior center, a veteran center, a kids after school center. It could be a lot of things that Copper Sky isn't. And I'm working very hard on that. Also, I'm not a U.S. Marine, but I was born on a Marine base. My dad was a captain, and he had stories all the time I was growing up that just curled my hair. Veterans do need support, do need services, and it's very important. Thanks.
Money, money, money. That's what the answer is. Veterans are so important. My son-in-law served. He's had 4 operations. So yes, I would love to see a veteran center here that he can go and talk to somebody. I'd love to see lots of services for veterans. But as you can see, the financial side of it, that's why economic development is so important to bring into the city. So if the city has to purchase and do something financially, they're going to be able to do it without getting grants if they can't get the grants. I mean, again, they'll fight for it. They'll go for the grants. They'll go do what they can. But the bottom line is economic development is key to bring these services here. They're not just going to come here by themselves. It's a financial backing. That's what we need to worry about. That's what we need to keep striving for. And again, I don't want to make it sound like the council's not. They are doing a great job. But there's only so much money they're able to take in. That's why economic development will bring all this. A safe city brings in people. People will come in here. Businesses will come in here. Again, tax dollars. That's what we need.
About 10 years ago, I mentioned earlier in an opening statement that I ran for office. And during that time, and I'm almost ashamed to say this because I am a veteran. I served 11 years in the United States Navy. All the veterans here, please raise your hand. Thank you for your service. And I want to thank Councilwoman Gussie. She opened my eyes to an organizations that are right here in town. The VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the American Legion, which I currently serve on the board. I have last year, and this is my second year serving on as a second vice commander. Anyway, I'm on the board of the American Legion. Working with the VSOs, the Blue Star Moms, VFW, American Legion, the auxiliary, working with our organizations here, our veterans that are here. That was there was not a town hall, but the Bring organizations here, and Julia Gussie spearheaded that a few years back. We have the resources now. We just need to tap in and continue working with our nonprofits that are right here. Thank you.
I agree with Bob and Lynette. I think that we should make a priority out of a community center, a veteran center, a senior citizen center, and I don't think that we have to talk about it being the Herberger. I mentioned theater, and immediately the powers that be think, Herberger, it's going to be $1 million. You start a little smaller. You don't have to start with the big dreams. You can build up, you can build on. But we need to have those services here, and we need to do it. And we need to have a theater here and an arts community here, and we can do that without spending a great amount of money either. And I absolutely support all of our veterans. Thank you so much for your service. I come from a long line of them, from 2 great-great-grandfathers in the Civil War, a great-grandfather in World War I. My father was a Navy pilot in World War II. My first husband, father of my children, was Vietnam, and I went to Woodstock, figure that out, I'm a baby boomer. And my grandson came back from Afghanistan. So veterans, you have my utmost respect, and I will work very hard for you to get what you deserve. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to all the veterans in the building today. Veterans should never, ever, ever have to fight for services. Services should be available to them when they need them. Sadly, it's a federal issue. It's not something City Council can fix with a snap of a finger. Veterans, I believe, at the federal level, they should allow veterans to go to any doctor they want that they want to go to. They should have a health card and go to the doctors they want. Julia Gussie, our Councilwoman Gussie, has a lot of contacts and a lot of services that she offers to veterans here in the city. Before her, it was Councilmember Kimball had a veteran stand down event, and Julia has taken that over. These events are very important because they bring services from Pinal County, from the state, from the federal level, all to Maricopa, so that you can come and get the services you need. And So the last one, I had a friend who's been fighting for a year or so to get hearing aids. So I brought him to the town hall, or the stand down that they had here at City Hall. I sat him with a couple people, and he was not like trying to get really hard or meet with people, but I sat him with people. So that town hall that we brought here was able to get him the hearing aids he needed. So it's things like that, bringing the services to Maricopa for our veterans, because they should not have to fight for services that they earned. Thank you.
I also want to thank my fellow veterans for their service. I'm a Vietnam era and Desert Storm veteran. Served 20 years, 27 days in the U.S. Air Force and retired. Good conduct. I would stand here and say that my fellow brothers and sisters who are veterans and probably may agree with me, we don't feel like we have to ask you. We've already done that. We've already stood in the stead for you in places where we've stood up for the principles of this country that we live in. So it's not unusual that we won't ask because we don't feel like we have to ask, but we certainly appreciate when you make it available. And reference to Copper Scott, I have to say I'm really disappointed about the fact that we call it a multi-generational center and it's not. So we do need to do something about that. We need to fix that.
All right. So we have a a community question. This one's a little longer. Questions at the back. So, okay, you guys ready? All right. So, I listened to Coffee with the Chief this morning. I was concerned to hear that the School Resource Officer Program grant has expired, and the program will be impacted by removing officers from the schools. The Chief stated that the officers will be assigned back to patrol to meet the increased calls for service due to increased population. My question for all of you, even if the grant money for the SRO program continued, it seems we have a need for additional officers anyway based on the demand for service. Do you support permanent city funding, not grants, to continue both the SRO program and meet the demand for the police service increases? And should MUSD share or fund the cost of the SRO program?
Well, we have to remember that there is MUSD and then there's the city of Maricopa. You know, what is responsible for MUSD is their responsibility. What the city is responsible for is its responsibility. So we need to make sure that we delineate who is supposed to do what. And again, I'm very disappointed that the SRO program is going to be tampered with in any way, because I believe that not only do the SROs provide security and protection to the kids, they also provide some very good role models for them as well. And so for that program to go away is very concerning to me. It's also very concerning to me that the patrol officers who are going to be in their place are going to have to ride bicycles to get back and forth in some of their areas. I don't know if you knew that or not, but that's part of this process. And so, again, that concerns me. The reason why the bicycle program will exist is so that they can kind of be in tune. If they're driving around in vehicles with the windows up and air conditioner up, they're not going to hear things. They're not going to be engaged in what's going on. So that's something that is of concern to me. But we got to make sure we understand who is responsible for what before we say who's going to do what.
Thank you for that clarification, because there were some things I didn't know about that, and I work here. You will find that I'm a very straightforward, straight no chaser person. So, forgive me. I think it's ridiculous that the butt that was cut. I'm in the classroom with your kids. Any teacher will tell you our job is not just to educate, our job is to protect. We do have procedures in place if something was to happen. Unfortunately, I have been in 4 situations: active shooter, 1 life situation, not here in Arizona. There is a procedure in place. None of my kids were hurt in any of those situations because we knew what to do. What I'm afraid of, by cutting these programs and cutting our SRO officers, they are trained professionals that know how to use a weapon, who knows how to defuse that type of situation. My job is to protect the children, not to unarm someone. So we need them there in place. So anything that we can do to bring MUSD and the city together in collaboration on that, I'm all for that. I'm willing to go and find some money for that.
As a student and as the child to both teacher and substitute teacher, my immediate concern when I'm in school is not whether or not I'm safe. I've never been in a school with officers, I've never been in a school with metal detectors, and so I feel as though I've been very much sheltered for a lot of my life to have not experienced those things. That being said, I feel as though it is extremely pertinent in the state of our nation with how many recent tragedies there has been to have increased security. The children that are on TV, the children that are speaking to us every single day these are the future. And it's absolutely disheartening to me as a student. I have been in active shooter situations. I don't feel as though there should be any reason to put any sort of protection and role model for any of our youth. There's no reason that we shouldn't allow that sort of program, and I do absolutely hope that there is something that we can do with absolutely a collaboration between MUSD and the city of Maricopa and possibly even the state, so that we can try and make this a more ongoing program.
We all know we live in an era where we need school resource officers for our students' protection. It's imperative that MUSD works with the city to make this happen. I'm not privy to the budget details yet because I'm not on city council yet, but vote for Bob.
I actually have notes about this because I knew we were going to get it. $100,000 is what it takes to have an officer in the schools. 100,000, 13 schools. I'm doing my homework here. 25,000 to actually train somebody if, and let me tell you, this is a very big if we ever wanted to have armed. If. We need to work with the state. There's going to be a bill. We need to make sure we get this. Again, it comes down to the financial. $100,000 an officer. By the way, we only have 36 officers on the street. Okay, there's 66 total, or 68 total. I think they hired just 2 more. So again, $100,000 to put a police officer in each school. There's 13 schools. So please understand, it's not that the city doesn't want to fund this. It's $100,000 an officer. So please understand, where's the money going to come from? I can ask anybody in this room, where's the money going to come from? Taxes? No. So please understand, it's not that they don't want to do it. It's a financial situation that needs to be figured out and worked with. And we need our federal and state government to take care of this.
As I said earlier, I was at the coffee with the chief this morning, and that was the topic education and safety at our schools. I was on city council when we voted for that very program, the grant funding for the grant from the federal, and the city matched it. And there's a governing board member in the back of the room. And she's been on there, and we had a good partnership. We still do. The city does have a good partnership with the school district. My goal is to maintain that partnership. Now, whether MUSD funds it, that's totally, their budget's totally separate than the city's budget. But what I think we can do, and Chief Stalls has preached this from day one, good contact with the citizens and with the students. The SROs are a good part of that. Now, but if that has to change, there's no reason that good contact with individuals has to change. And as parents, I'm a parent, my kids graduated from MHS. I have a son in charter school, but if we can teach our kids, yes, they're law enforcement, but they're also our friends, and they're there to protect us and their safety. And yeah, that's it. They're not the enemy. They're our friends. Thank you.
I want to start with what Henry said. I agree with him. I think that there's a balance, and the schools need to see what their responsibility is, and the city what their responsibility is. I am not a person who believes in let the government take care of everything. I believe in personal responsibility, and I know that this is not going to make me very popular with some of you, but you can start a wave. A small community like Maricopa can start a wave, and I think what the situation is that we are raising our children on these violent video games and Hollywood with these violent movies, and I think that we as parents need to stand up and tell our children, no, you don't get to play Grand Theft Auto and kill a cop. 6-year-old grandson used to play Grand Theft Auto. I asked him what do you want to be when you grow up, and he says, I want to go kill cops. He was 6. I couldn't understand that. So instead of putting all of the responsibility on the government, I think that we all, as individuals, need to reach out and try to educate the parents. Thank you.
There's no 1-minute answer for this. It's very important to understand. The city has a budget. That budget is over 70% of our budget goes to police and fire, public safety. We cannot fund more SROs in the schools. It can't happen. Or else we're going to have to raise taxes. And I'm not going to raise taxes on you. I'm not going to do it. So what we have to do is understand that this is an MUSD issue. They have to fund SROs. We can help. We can help with the grants. We can help and talk through it. We can match some of the grants maybe. But we have to understand that this is not a city budget issue. Now, for MUSD, now I'm not part of MUSD, they're two separate things, but I believe at MUSD we need to have behavioral health. And what I mean by that is, if you can stop somebody from being a problem at school, you can then decrease the amount of SROs you need. Lastly, the SROs are, although the SROs are being, some of them are being removed, the high school SRO is staying in place. So Chris will be there, he'll be there for the whole school year, and then the SROs that are taken out of the middle schools, what they're doing is they're going to be on bikes and they're going to be community policing around the schools. So if there's an issue at the school, they'll be able to react and be there as quickly as possible. So what we're doing is we're just basically reallocating the money and the officers to protect more than just the school. Thank you.
So for the next question, is there any more questions that we need to collect? All right, perfect. So our next question is, how will you solicit input from Maricopa residents?
I think this is absolutely great. I'm a huge advocate for voting and having young persons become more involved in their communities. And I mean, this is definitely not just a young person issue, not having their ear to the ground, listening to their community right away. But I am actually a big advocate for social media. I do think it's important to reach out to our constituents in a number of ways. There's a lot of events that we can reach out with. Soliciting input from our voters and from our community. That's just a question in regards to, you have to be in touch with your community. That's just how can you reach out, what new different ways, and I think especially with the rise of technology and how many young people are in the community that use technology, and it's not even, again, not just a young person issue anymore, it's everyone is on the internet, everyone is public, everyone can do those things. So I think definitely I would make more use of technology and different options that way.
As a former Microsoft student, I can't argue with that. Yeah, social media is number one. Face-to-face is even better. And I believe in getting out there, embedding myself in the various civic organizations, things like the Maricopa Multicultural Consortium, sitting in on Chamber of Commerce meetings, attending city council meetings, planning and zoning meetings, transportation committee meetings, et cetera, age-friendly committee meetings, and making sure that I open conversations with people and don't just hear them, but integrate their knowledge in with mine. That's how I built my website, MaricopaVoteForBob.com, and it's based on inputs from people I've spoken with.
Technology and social media, no doubt about it, is a great way. I sat on the 2040 Visionary Committee. I was nominated to it, and I got to tell you something. We had, I think it was 137 people in total. I might be a little off on the number, but let me tell you something. Those 100+ people were able to reach out and continue reaching out to other people. That's how we came about the whole 2040 Visionary Committee. So again, committees are amazing. Not only did we sit there, we listened to what the people had. People went out. Every time I left a public safety meeting, I went out and I asked people what they wanted. You guys need to tell us what we need. We all need to work together. The committees are great. Again, social media is fantastic. But again, I think those committees are amazing, and we get so much out of it, and we actually put them on paper, and we actually put them to work. So I'm all for additional committees and another 2040 Visionary style committee. Thank you.
Sorry. The question was, how will you solicit input from Maricopa residents?
Well, I guess it's hard not to get input from social residents with the age of Facebook, right? There's comments, and I monitor the comments on Facebook right now, but I think Bob alluded to this a little bit, face-to-face. Just go into our local coffee shop, and a cup of coffee. People pass in and out every day. Just having a cup of coffee with somebody. And they'll share with you. I was on city council. People will approach you out of the blue. I think Councilmember Manfredi and Wade said, they'll just come up to you and they'll start asking you questions. And the role as a council member is to be accessible to his community members, to voters, to our constituents. I'm willing to do that. I love that part of the job. Yeah, can't please everybody. There's no way to do that. But I can listen to as many people as I can. And just sit and have a cup of coffee with you. And listen to you. And I'm willing to do that for 4 more years. Thank you.
I am not computer savvy at all. A while back when my grandchildren were teenagers, they were talking about a new device called an iPod. And I said, what do you want that for? Just get a Walkman. Now I have an iPod and I love it. I'm trying to get a Facebook account going too that's interactive, like Vince was talking about, and I haven't been able to do it. I've been trying. I hired somebody to do it for me, and we're still not up and running yet, but I'm trying. I go on Nextdoor. I reach out to people. I like Nextdoor. That's a great community forum. I do go on Facebook and I talk to my neighbors. The main thing I do, and one of the things I've done with businesses, for example, that have come to Maricopa and wanted to open here, I go to them personally. I have gone to them personally and I've said, why did you not open in Maricopa? What were your concerns? What can I do to help? What can we change? And I think that it's important to still have the one-on-one, even with all the media, have the one-on-one. Like he said, have coffee, call me. Nextdoor, Facebook, the media, I'll get as familiar with it as I can and I'll have people to help me do it. But I prefer one-on-one, and if you have a problem, I want the city council to be approachable, that you can talk to them and they will give you advice on what they're doing and be transparent. Thank you.
For many years before I joined City Council in 2014, many years before that, I attended every City Council meeting for at least 2 years prior. I was on the Zoning Code Rewrite Task Force for 18 months with Bob, and Peg was on it, Councilmember Chapados. You know, get involved. That's how you're going to be able to meet with people. By being on boards and committees and talking to people and working with others, that's how you actually, get the pulse of the people. On Facebook, I'm pretty Facebook savvy. Probably see my name everywhere. For me, I have a Facebook Live where I answer your questions, anybody's questions. You type a question, it gets answered. And if by some chance you don't meet me in a Facebook Live, my wife will tell you she hates shopping with me because when we go to Fry's, I can't make it down one aisle before I get to the next aisle, and it takes me probably 3 hours to buy 2 things in Fry's because we get stopped as council members all the time, the face-to-face meetings. I work down about 300 feet from Honeycut Coffee, so when I go up and get a coffee, it's about a half an hour to get a coffee. Because usually there's somebody sitting there and they say, hey, can I ask you a question? So it's face-to-face, it's technology, it's getting involved in the community, in the organizations, and with your school district. The school district needs volunteers. You're here in the building. There's probably volunteer forms in the front of here. Please pick one up. Thank you.
How many people in this room have I had a conversation with? That's how you interact with the community. You have a conversation with people. You talk to people in Fridays. You communicate with them. I think the council member on the corner is one of those things where we have an immediate contact with folks. Again, this is a program that I'm very proud of. We've talked about everything from human trafficking. In fact, that's how I was introduced to Lynette. We did a conversation on human trafficking. Did a conversation on prostate cancer. From that conversation, the gentleman decided that he was going to have a conversation with the doctor that was there, found out he had prostate cancer, and got treated for it. That's how you communicate with the people. You take something that is important to them and you have a conversation about it.
I'm going to date myself. I remember in New York City in the 80s, we had a mayor. His name was Ed Koch. Those of you who know, you know what I'm about to say. He was a 6'3" man, very intimidating. Kind of like I'm here now. When he comes up to you, I'm like, hi. Well, I'll do that with everybody before 9. What he walked around doing, and it worked, was, how I'm doing? How I'm doing? What you think? How I'm doing? That worked for him because people told him how he was actually doing. crap that week, or he did an accomplishment, but they let him know because he asked. It's as simple as that. I'm crazy enough to walk around Maricopa and say, how I'm doing? What you think? What's going on? What you want? That's me. Another thing that we could do, and it may sound kind of juvenile, but it does work because I did it for 12 years in New Jersey. They have suggestion boxes at City Hall, at the public library, and they got suggestions from there. But I want to say that our current council is very approachable. I love that because you can walk up to them. You can't do that in every city. Walk up and say, hey, I have a question.
Sorry. Our next question is, do you have a plan to attract like local high-paying jobs and more businesses? Like, do you have an actual plan?
Bill Gates is building a new city west of Phoenix. It's called Belmont, and it's just north of the nuclear power plant. I'd like to contact Bill Gates and his team and see if they'd be interested in beta testing some of their concepts here in Maricopa, because we have the infrastructure, fiber optic cable, the bandwidth, and 50,000 people ready to play. I think it's an approach that we could test. Might work, might not, but it's worth a try, especially if they're investing $1 trillion in the desert west of Phoenix.
How do you plan to attract more local high-paying jobs and businesses?
As I mentioned earlier, work hard. That means get out every single day. Meet the people that we need to work with. You've got places like GPEC. These are organizations that you need to be in front of them consistently. We need to work with our partners that are out there. We are a small city, we're 50,000 roughly. We need to bring higher paid jobs. We have a great, like I said, we have some nice pieces of land to build stuff on. And the Australia Gin project is one of the projects that they've been working on. We need to continue pushing that project. We may need to even reach out to places and get call center. I think a call center, we have a lot of stay-home moms, stay-home dads, veterans and seniors who can work part-time jobs. They don't all want to flip burgers, okay? They don't all want to work in hamburger joints and restaurants. My bottom line is that we need places that, you know, when you say high-paying jobs, I'm sure you mean $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 jobs, but we need to start somewhere. And call center, I think, is a great place. And again, we need to work with our partners. That means sit, listen, and learn from other cities. Meet with them. How did they do it? Again, we need to work together as a team. And that's the most important thing, that I will promise you that I will work hard. After 27 years of doing that around the world, I can continue to do that right here in our city for you and everybody that ever wants to come to this beautiful and great city. Thank you.
My plan to bring, I think it was jobs, economic development.
Yeah, basically jobs and businesses.
Okay, we have a I think a great resource. It's called Maricopa Economic Development Alliance. And what it is, it's a public-private partnership. The mayor sits on it. Former Vice Mayor Brown sits on it. I think he was one of the founding members of it. And they work with businesses outside to help recruit them. Also, we're members of GPEC, as Rich alluded to, which is Greater Phoenix Economic Council. And as a council member, now the mayor is probably the number one networker and relationship builder. And I think that's a great role model. I had the opportunity, I was on city council to do some of that. And I'd love to do more and keep doing more and more of that, working with the entities that we already have. I would build on the relationships that we already have and continue moving forward and bringing, and also our small businesses, right? We shop local. Frequent more, 80% of our people commute are out of town on 347. We're well aware of that. Shop local. Spend the dollars here in town. That'll keep our system going. Thank you.
Oh, that's my wheelhouse. First thing I did was join the Chamber of Commerce. The first thing I did was try to bring businesses here. A long time ago, even before Christian was mayor, we wanted to get a Culver's here. And a couple of us actually went to Wisconsin and talked to the owner to start that process for Maricopa. So I believe in talking to somebody one-on-one, person-to-person. I told you I don't take no for an answer. I have talked to the owner of Rigatoni's restaurants to get people here. What will it take to get you to come to Maricopa? What can we do to make it viable? I think that that's what's important, to have a working chamber and the City Hall working together closely. Because the job of the chamber is to bring businesses to Maricopa. And that's what I want to do too. And I have done that since I got here. I did take the time off after my husband passed for quite a while. But I'm back to doing it now very actively because I want to see businesses come to Maricopa. But I also think that we should utilize the talent that we have. If we have somebody in Maricopa that wants to build an Italian restaurant, let's make it happen. It can be a nice sit-down Italian restaurant with a tablecloth and all that. It doesn't have to come from Chandler. I know we have people here that would have a dream like that. I hear from them all the time. Thank you.
How many small business owners are in the room today? All right, how many of you have how many small home-based businesses are in the room today? Those people that raise their hand, those are the people that need the help within the city of Maricopa to bring high-paying jobs to the city of Maricopa. Intel is not coming here. Amazon is building a huge building, and everybody said, bring Amazon here. It's not happening. Amazon's new building is going to be the size of Maricopa, right? So it's not coming to Maricopa, especially with a 2-lane highway in and out of town. What we have to do is concentrate on what I call the low-hanging fruit. The small business owners that work and live in the city of Maricopa today that will hire people, that will expand when they have the ability to do so. And to give them that ability, we need to give them the space to do so. So earlier we asked a question about new buildings. Yes, we need new light industrial. We need office space. We need that here in the city of Maricopa. That is probably the #1 need that we have in terms of buildings. So infrastructure and building those buildings so small to home businesses, home and small businesses that currently exist in the city can grow, expand, and then hire more people. That is how we grow Maricopa, and that is how we grow a tax base. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with Vincent. You know, small business is certainly the catalyst for growing and expanding for the city of Maricopa, and we need to do that. You know, the city has done as much as it's, not as much as Canada, quite a bit in order to try to support small business, bring other economic development into the city of Maricopa, and we will continue to do so. We have not always been successful. And so to be straightforward with you, there have been times when we've made mistakes. But that doesn't mean that we did not stop, because the conversation is you guys have made mistakes. We need to continue on and try to find that niche. There's organizations like, I can't think of the name of your organization right now, Maricopa Business Alliance, I think it is, also P&G. There are other small business organizations out there that are supporting small business, and we want to be part of that as well, and we will be. So as we continue to try to grow, I like Bob's idea. I mean, I think that's great. If we can go out and talk, have a conversation with him, let's go do that. I'll drive. And so we can make that happen. But we are going to continue to do the things that we need to do in order to try to help the city of Maricopa grow and prosper. And if we don't do that, then jam us up in the produce section and fries and say you're not doing anything, because you cannot ever say that we're not doing anything. We are working for you.
The question was, do I have a plan to bring in businesses, correct? Is that correct? Okay. I'm an educator. That's my area of expertise. But I do know with business, to bring them here, we have to show the value that we have here in our city. We have to show what makes us unique. Why should they bring their business here? It's going to take some convincing. We have to support our small businesses. When you support a small business, you're supporting a dream. I tell that to my students all the time. I'm supporting their dream. When we spend our money in Maricopa, the money circulates in Maricopa. If you look at communities across the country that keep their money in their communities, they are prospering because they spend their money there. Now, granted, there are some things that we can't get here. We go outside of Maricopa for. But if we all make the effort, really truly make that effort, to spend our money with the businesses here so that these businesses can thrive, because they need us in order to thrive. They can't do it by themselves. They need customers. We need to be the customer base. We should be supporting them.
The short answer is yes, I do have a plan, and it has two parts: hard work and accessibility. Starbucks started in one shop in a small town with a bunch of kids. Apple started in one team, some guy's garage, pretty much. I absolutely believe in investing in small businesses, and the more we invest in our small businesses, we create bigger businesses, and that's the hard work portion. You have to keep going. You have to keep pushing through the working out of your garage. You have to keep going through working in one shop. That's how you build those empires. As for accessibility, I think a huge plan that we as a city should work on is the accessibility opportunities for businesses. Absolutely reach out to your contacts. Why don't we have car dealerships here? Large ones like Earnhardt. Why don't we have call centers? Why don't we? What is it because of the 347? Is that an option? Why is it, or is creating more jobs here going to create more jobs in the future? Because we are circulating the money more, we are creating more profit here. We need to look at why, we need to look at accessible options and how we can fix them.
All right, so now we are going to transition into more of a closing statement phase. So for our candidates, you guys will have 2 minutes each. Please make sure you state your name so people know who you are. And most of you guys know who they are already, but just to make sure they know, and just basically touch on whatever you feel that you want the public of Maricopa to know for your last 2 minutes in this. Thank you.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, council members that are currently going for re-election, and everybody else up here, God bless you and thank you for being here and putting yourself out there. Really, it's not an easy thing. We had a few things that actually really made me touch you when we were talking about bringing businesses here. Okay, we have the workforce right here. They will never be late for work. Big problem. Okay, they travel from other places, and we don't have to worry about that. So if we employ people right here, we're able to make sure that we can find them very easily. So you don't have to worry about that. Economic development is number one here. Public safety is also huge. Safe city brings economic development. We have to understand that that's two of the most important things that we have going on. Without either one of those two, this city will not grow. We have to focus on it, and that's where I will focus on. I will work with that stuff. I will work with the people. It's all about negotiating. Negotiating is the number one tool in this country to get things done. That's how everything we do every single day is done. I will focus on that. I will work with the people. I will work with the council. I will work with people that we need to work with. We have an economic development team that's growing. We need to increase that economic development team. We need to work together. That is the number one thing that we need to do. Again, I have 27 years of international business experience. That means I have to work with countries and accomplish what they want, not what I want. It's not an easy thing. I was in the bicycle business for 27 years. And in those 27 years, I had to make the same bicycle work for each country and skateboard and that fun thing called the Razor that everybody used to buy for their kids. Again, every country has a different rule. Well, guess what? I had to execute that plan with the marketing team, with the sales team, everybody. Again, it's teamwork. That's what I want to do. I want to bring a team together and work together with the current council, the staff. Staff is huge in this city. We should be very happy we've got a great staff to work with. And I want to be part of working with them. Rich Fidiello, Maricopa City Council. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank God, number one, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And thank everybody for attending this evening. I was a little drenched when I walked in the building, so drive safe on your way home. My closing is going to be a little different. I'm an official candidate. However, if you don't know already, I'm a write-in candidate. So I have to tell you, Leon Potter. My name is Leon Potter, and if you vote for me, circle the bubble, and I'm honored if you write my name in. The vote counts the same as if you vote for anybody else. So your vote is the same. And if I am so honored to be one of your 3 persons that you vote for, thank you so much. At the end of the day, when the dust settles on August 28th, I don't have to be the top vote-getter. I don't even have to be the 3rd highest yet. The 6th, based on 3 council member seats that are open, I just have to be 6th. It's a doable though. You don't want to take it for granted, but it's a doable reach. Not to discredit anybody here. There's a lot of talent, diverse, but when the dust settles and I'm 6th, I am nominated to go on to the general, and my name will be on the ballot. So it's just a temporary thing, but I want to again thank you for considering me as a write-in. A former council member, served 2 years, and again, outside of the council members that are here running for re-election, I'm the only one that served on city council, and I currently stay involved with the city with different things as we have talked about. Thank you.
My name is Cynthia Morgan again, and I hope you vote for me for City Council. If you don't, and I don't make City Council, I'm still going to work for you. I'm still going to work with the city, and I'm still going to volunteer, and I'm still going to be your voice, the voice of the taxpayer. I hope that you will consider that. And like I said, I want to repeat, people are always saying, enough of the politicians. I'm not a politician, I'm a citizen, I'm a taxpayer like you, and that's the only reason that I decided to do this, because I think that we need a little different input, I think. I'm an artist. I'm not a number cruncher. I'm not a politician. I'm not a statesman. I am an artist. I came from LA, Hollywood, and I was in show business and all that. And that's a man's world, and I was successful in that. So that'll tell you something about me and where I stand. It took a lot to make it and be successful in a man's world. And I did it. And so I want to bring that here. And I want to work with you. You will be the voice of Maricopa. You will always be the voice of Maricopa, and I want to be there for you. I want to listen to you. I want to hear your input, and I want to utilize your talents to make this city a wonderful, wonderful town that it is, and getting even better and growing. Thank you.
2 minutes, man, so much to say in 2 minutes. Anyway, my name is Vincent Manfredi. You know me, I hope. I've had conversations with most of you. Some don't agree with me, some agree with me, some love me, some hate me. I don't know why these people are running for city council. Because, to be honest with you, you open yourself up to so much. You know, it's a crazy time. Everything you do, everything you say, every step you take, anything you do becomes public record. Everybody wants to know everything about you. I swear to God, I'm waiting for my kindergarten teacher to call me one day and say that, like, Maricopa Monitor is calling looking for information about me. Because it's crazy how no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody that hates you. And it was, what was it? Aristotle had said, it doesn't, the only way to, what was it again? I forgot the saying. But it was basically do nothing, be nothing, and say nothing, and that's the only way that nobody will hate you. But unfortunately, I say things. Unfortunately, I do things. So, with all due respect for people that are running for council, I heard a lot of, I will. I can say I've done. I've talked with hotel developers and brought them and sat them down with Denise at the city. I've worked with businesses in the city of Maricopa that helped them to come here. I've worked with businesses to pull them out of their garage and create jobs. This is what I've done for the past 4 years. I'm just asking to stay for another 4 years. My wife won't let me run after that. So that's what I'm looking to do. There's so much to do. We have to fix the 347. We have so much that has to be done. And I'm looking to stay for the next 4 years and do that. I'm asking you for your vote. I want to thank the Rotary. I want to thank Maricopa Monitor. I want to thank Copa TV. And I want the JSA students for doing what they've done today. getting out, talking, giving you guys all the information that you need to make educated decisions. It's not based on science. It's not based on who you like. Vote for people that you believe are going to effectuate change that you want to see. Thank you.
I'm Councilmember Henry Wade, and as I stated with you earlier, I'm currently your council member for the city of Maricopa, and I love the job that I have working for you. I love representing the city of Maricopa. You know, I work in downtown Phoenix. I'm a director of housing counseling services for Chicanos por la Causa. I'm going to say that again because normally people go, what? Chicanos por la Causa. Chicanos por la Causa is the third largest Hispanic nonprofit organization in the United States. They have over 850 employees. They have about $137 million annual budget. It's Chicanos por la Causa. Why am I working there? Why? Because they took a chance on me. They gave me the opportunity to come and participate in a leadership role. And I enjoy it thoroughly. Just like I enjoy every day when I get up and realize that I'm a city councilman for the city of Maricopa. Now, I hate getting out there on the 347, picking the guns. I get out on the 347 and make that ride to Phoenix every day. I hate that. Why do I hate that? I love my job. I hate that road. But why do I hate it anymore? Because I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you every day to go do something somewhere else. And I don't want to do that because I want to be here working for you and doing the things that we need to have done. As it's been said, I've enjoyed working with Vincent Manfredi on council for the last 3.5 years. I've enjoyed working for our superstar mayor. Superstar. He's as humble as he wants to be. He's as humble as he wants to be, but it's quite frankly, he is who he is, and I love working with him. I enjoy working with the other members of the council. I want to continue the work that needs to be done because we have done work and we have work to do. And I want to thank JSA for their leadership this evening. Thank you so much to Rotary Club for taking the opportunity to put these young people in first, you know, because I love the fact that you put young people up front, and that's what we need to do. I want to thank the Maricopa Monitor. I want to thank also Hey Maricopa TV. All of you who sat down and thought about what this was supposed to be like. I hope it is what you thought it would be, because it's good for me. Thank you so much.
My name is Lynette Caraselli. My slogan is, your city, your voice. I started off this evening stating that the people are precious. I meant that. Each and every one of you in this room is precious to me. As a servant leader, there's nothing more I would rather do than serve my constituents. I do it now, but on a different level. I'm asking you to give me the opportunity to show you what I can do. As my grandmother says, I can show you better than I can tell you. I'm looking for that opportunity. Your vote is one of the most precious commodities that you have. It's not something that any of us take lightly. Everyone up here has something to bring to the table, each of us unique. You have a tough job to do. Your job is to look in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, you have to make a determination. Which one of us represents you? Which one of us has your values? Which one of us stands for what you stand for? I hope that I said something this evening, whether it was while we were eating or here, that made a positive impact on you. I hope that my responses were satisfactory to you. I look forward to serving you because that's what I do best. I'm a servant leader. Lynette Caraselli for City Council, your city, your voice.
My name is Paige Ritchie. I am a student. I am a longtime citizen of Maricopa, and I intend to stay in Maricopa. I've lived here for 8 years, and I want to make it many more. I'm not leaving. I didn't leave for college. I didn't leave for work. I'm here, and I'm here to stay. And I understand I'm out of the ordinary. I'm not a parent. I'm not even over 21 yet. I'm definitely not the normal person who runs for city council, but to be honest, I feel as though I am representative of a very large portion of our population that may feel marginalized. They might feel like they're not represented, like I said, by the demographic of single family or by, in general, our community. And I want to represent you. I want to represent every person that feels like they haven't been. I want to represent every person that has a voice and is kind of scared to use it, and it's just a little easier talking to some kid, you know? I want to be here for you, and even if I don't win, and I understand this is my first election, I don't have a whole lot of funding, and I'm not the best public speaker. Even if I don't win, my goal is for our youth, to encourage my peers to get up here and show them it is possible, that you can sit in this seat, that you can speak with our council members, our incumbents, and that you can do this. I want my peers to be as forward and have their voices heard as I am. And if they don't feel comfortable getting up here on the stage, I get that's not everyone's cup of tea, then let me be your voice. I want everyone to be heard, even when you don't think you can. Again, I'm Paige Ritchie. I'm a student. I am different, but I am Maricopa, and I want you to be here too.
First off, I'd like to get a round of applause for JSA for pulling this together. My name is Bob Marsh. I'm the only Bob on the council ballot. I'm not a politician. I'm certainly not a politician or a public speaker. I'm an engineer. I'm a proven professional problem solver. I got to work on teams that made miracles happen. I participated in the building of the equipment that got Neil Armstrong on the moon and Buzz Aldrin. I worked on the Alaska Pipeline project, got oil flowing from the North Slope to Valdez. I worked on numerous power plants, power plant automation projects, nuclear, coal, gas, gas turbine. You were probably buying electricity from companies that were using my equipment right up until recent times when it got aged out. I'm 25 years plus in Arizona. I was one of the first residents in Fountain Hills when it was first developed, out of several ranches joining together under McCulloch's banner. Similar to Maricopa, coming from farmland to a wonderful community. I've hiked the Grand Canyon 32 times, so I know the way down and I know the way out. And I think having someone on city council who can do the math is a pretty darn good idea, especially when budgets are tight, dollars are tight, and we need to work some magic. So vote for Bob. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. Like, really, personally, like, I really want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Maricopa JSA wants to thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts, because, I mean, this is a huge step for us. I mean, normally we do a lot of school events and stuff like that, but this is honestly a first for us. And so, if you see any of us anywhere, please give us feedback. We really appreciate it. We take feedback pretty well. To our council members or future, I'm not really sure, candidates. There we go. That's a better word, candidates. Thank you guys so much for coming out today, for giving us your time. Thank you, City of Maricopa. Thank you to the people watching on the live stream. I don't really know where the camera is, but it's fine. The building should be open for around a half hour longer. So you guys can talk to Maricopa JSA about, like, if you guys have any questions for us, what we do. If however long they decide to stay, you guys can ask them questions. But you guys are free to go, and thank you so much. Thank Helens, thank the Rotary Clubs, they're awesome people. Thank you. Maricopa TV, all of them. Have a safe drive home, everyone.